Good evening, it's Anthony and welcome to BBSN. And tonight we have, actually the date in this 1969 Payoff Pitch Cubs replay is 4/18/69. But the Cubbies had a bye on this date, but that does not mean there is no baseball. So we have a special request game. And this is a replay requested by Jerry Ball. The Red Sox against the Indians played on 4/18/69. And in this game in real life, you can see here that Luis Tiant was with the Indians at the time. Of course, went on to play for the Red Sox much later. And he was a losing pitcher in this one as the Red Sox took the game in real life 10-7. And the Indians, off to an abysmal start, were 1-8 after this game, while the Sox moved to 6-4. So for Jerry Ball, we're going to get this bonus game in from the American League, and also for Al Red Sox fan as well, since this Red Sox team is quite loaded and had a good season. In fact, looking at this lineup, and we'll get to their lineup. Indians lineup first, however. Leading off in right field will be Russ Snyder. Larry Brown will play short, bat second. Batting third will be center fielder Jose Cardinal. Batting cleanup, first baseman Tony Horton. Batting fifth, catcher Duke Sims. Batting sixth, left fielder Chuck Hinton. Batting seventh, second baseman Zoyo Versailles. Third baseman batting eighth, Max Albus. And pitching, of course, for the Indians is El Commodore Luis Tiant, and he will bat ninth. And actually a fairly good hitting pitcher. His hitting card is a 12, which is decent, and kind of belies his appearance. He did not look, obviously, very athletic or like he could play ball beyond pitch, but Tiant was somewhat talented with the bat, actually. So for the Red Sox, their lineup will be Reggie Smith leading off, playing center field. Mike Andrews bats second and plays second. Captain Carl Yastrzemski in left field will bat third. Batting fourth at first base, Ken the Hawk Harrelson. Much better announcer than he was a baseball player. And batting fifth, right fielder, one of the true sad stories of baseball, Tony Conigliaro. Batting sixth, the boomer, third baseman George Scott. And batting seventh, and one of the few times you'll see a 40 home run guy in this place in the lineup, shortstop Rico Petrocelli. And batting eighth, the catcher Jerry Moses. And batting ninth and pitching for the Red Sox today will be Ray Culp, who went 17-8 with a 3.81 ERA in 1969. So there are our lineups. And we will be ready to play some ball. And of course, Fenway Park, has been a pretty good hitter's palace. There's a ballpark card there, and wheelhouse 1-50 versus left and 1-54 versus a right. And just looking at this Red Sox lineup, this was really a team that was built to win. They had the misfortune of playing or being around at the same time as some very tough Orioles teams, but the Red Sox have an exceptional lineup, and not so much even for who's in it today, but a couple of these guys went on to be integral parts of other good teams. Reggie Smith, for example, with the Dodgers into the mid-70s, and boomer George Scott with the Milwaukee Brewers later on. And Conigliaro, again, this was actually his first season back after missing an entire season plus after getting that horrific eye injury when he got beamed in 1967. And he did come back and have, a couple of decent seasons. He was never the same as before the injury, but 69 and 70 had decent enough seasons, but by 71 he was pretty much out of the league at the age of 26. And You know, unfortunately, his sad tragedy didn't end there. He was actually in Boston interviewing for or checking on a radio job, I believe, and had a heart attack at the age of 37. And basically, from that point on, a couple of strokes, and he spent the last 8 years of his life in a coma before passing away in 1990 at the age of only 45. So again, Tony Conigliaro, great potential that never came to fruition and had a hard life after baseball, but that's pretty much the story. So with that, and again, Jerry Ball, Al Red Sox fan, this is for you. We are ready to go, so let's roll. Rush Snyder leading it off for the Indians. And ballpark, and that's going to be wheelhouse. And versus the right-handed batter. And 28, that's going to be a single for Snyder. So he leads off the game with a hit, and the Indians in business here. Snyder will steal on a 3 or less, does not happen. So he stays at first, and up next will be Larry Brown. And Brownie, the shortstop, hit .227 against right-handed pitching in 1969. Culp the pitch, and that is in play. And that's going to be a pop out to third base, one down. Yeah. So runner holds at first, and Jose Cardenal is up, center fielder. And that'll be tough. And against the righty, that's going to be a single. So Cardenal fights off a tough pitch, and that's a soft blooper into short right field. Runner on first advances 2 bases. So Snyder motors over to third. And things off to a good start for the Indians. Runners at the corners, nobody out, and Tony Horton up. And 8's going to be tough, and swing a miss, struck him out. So Culp comes back and rifles a high hard one past Horton. He can't catch up with it. 2 down, runners on the corners. Catcher Duke Sims, the batter. And that's going to be in play, and Sims is going to hit a double. He strokes that into the gap, and that's a line drive into the alley, center field. All runners score. So Sims, the clutch double with 2 down, clears the bases, and the Indians jump off to a quick 2-0 lead as Snyder and Cardenal come around to score. And not the result that either Al Red Sox fan or Jerry were looking for. Next batter, Chuck Hinton, and that's patient. And that's going to be a single. So Hinton 2 down, and that is a sharp liner, drops in front of left field. Runner on second advances 1 base plus, and with 2 outs, house rule, that automatically becomes a 2-base advance. So Duke Sims is going to come around and score, and the Indians jump out to a quick 3-0 lead here over the Sox. 2 down, runner on first, and Hinton, 3 or less, he'll try and steal, not happening. Zoyo Versailles up. And Versailles, another sad story actually, which I told in an earlier game when he was playing for Minnesota in this replay. But 7 is going to be in play, and Versailles just misses that, and that's going to be a line drive to shortstop. So hit it hard, but right at Petrocelli. And the top of the first is over, but not before the Indians strike for 3. And we head to the bottom of the first inning. You score Cleveland 3, Boston 0. And inside, I'm quietly cheering. So Luis Tiant on the mound for the Indians, which seems a little odd to say considering most of his recognition comes from his time with the Sox pitching in the 70s. Reggie Smith will lead it off. And that's going to be ballpark. 49 will be wheelhouse. So Smith for a leadoff, guys, got a little bit of pop. Here comes a pitch. He swings, and this ball is deep, 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 and gone. No doubter, and that's out of the yard, and Smith. Not shaping up to be a pitcher's duel as he leads off the Red Sox first inning with a solo shot. Mike Andrews, the batter. And that'll be tough, and that's going to be a ground ball down to second base. So 4-3 on the putout. Versailles over to Horton. One down. Captain Carl, the batter for the Sox. Yastrzemski, Hall of Famer, and that's going to be an in play. 45 will be a ground ball down to third base. 2 down. Ken the Hawk Harrelson, famed for his announcing duties with the White Sox. Patient, and 94 will be a fly out to left field. So the Sox are done in the bottom of the first, but they claw one back on Reggie Smith's leadoff home run. So we head to the top of the second, score Indians 3, Red Sox 1. Max Alvis leads it off for Cleveland. Tough, and that'll be a ground ball down to second base. So Andrews up with that and whips it over to Harrelson, 1 down. Pitcher spot up, and Tiant is a 12 as a hitter. And 8 will be tough, and that's not going to do him any good. Swing and a miss as Colt makes short work of his counterpart. 2 down, back to the top of the order for Russ Snyder. Culp winds up, delivers, and that'll be Patient. And Snyder draws a walk. So his second time on base here, he singled in his first at bat. And again, he will steal on a roll of 3 or less, and he's going to try it. So for the Sox, behind the plate is Moses. He has an arm of a 4, and Snyder is a B. So B4, that's as good as you can get, 18 to 99, and he swipes it, and he's in there easily. So walk and a stolen base for Schneider and Larry Brown now. 2 down and a runner in scoring position. And that'll be in play, and that's going to be a ground ball down to shortstop. Petrocelli takes care of that. And the Indians strand a runner in scoring position. We head to the bottom of the second inning, 3-1 Cleveland. And Tony Conigliaro, who we spoke about briefly in the pregame, leads off the second for the Sox. Patient, and Conigliaro, that's going to be a fly out to center field, 1 down. George Scott, boomer up. And got a little more pop against lefties. And 8's going to be a tough out, so not going to have to worry though, because Tiant blows a fastball right by him. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So Scott goes down. And Tiant, it's kind of an anomaly. You can see his record in 1969 was 9-20, but a fairly, not too shabby, 3.71 ERA. But to have a tough out in the 8 range right there shows that he truly did pitch fairly well that season, just didn't have a lot of support. 6 is going to be tough, and 72, that'll be a fly out to center field, so 3 up, 3 down. Go the Sox in the bottom of the second, head to the top of the third, still 3-1 Indians. Jose Cardinal up. Culp winds up, kicks, delivers, and that's going to be tough and just out of range. A pop out to shortstop. So Cardinal back to the dugout as Petrocelli takes care of that. Tony Horton, the batter. Culp gets a sign, kicks, delivers. And that'll be tough, and that's going to be a ground ball down to second base. So 2 quick outs for the Indians as both pitchers seem to have settled down after a rocky first. And tough again, and 69. It's going to be a ground ball to short. So Petrocelli gets 2 of the outs in this inning, and Sims is retired. We head to the bottom of the 3rd inning, 3-1 Indians. Jerry Moses, the batter. And that's going to be Patient, and he's going to single right back up the middle. So Moses leads off the 3rd inning with a hit for the Sox. Pitcher up. And Culp. He is a C, bunting, so he's going to go ahead and lay down the bunt here. So C, he needs a 16 to 89. And that is a 0-2, and he pops out. And 3 is going to be a pop out to the first baseman. So F3, Culp does not get it done. Runner still on first, and I actually did not roll for a steal. Probably good that Moses doesn't try and steal. He's terrible running. Needed a 3. Back to the top of the order for Reggie Smith. And Tiant wheelhouse, 99 though, and that's going to be nothing but a deep, long, loud out. So Smith had a chance for his 2nd home run of the game, just got under it. And pulled in with his back to the wall by Hinton. Mike Andrews, the batter, 2 down, runner on first. And wheelhouse again, Tiant flirting with disaster, and this one is not coming back. 2-run shot for Andrews, and we're all tied up at 3. He takes that way over the green monster. Moses comes in to score, and 2 down in the bottom of the 3rd, and we are knotted up. Carl Yastrzemski, the batter. So Tiant wheelhouses on both ends of the cards, rolls them back to back, and pays with a 2nd one. 7's going to be in play, and Yaz fly out to right field. So the Sox are gone in the 3rd, but not before they knotted up on the strength of a 2-run shot by Mike Andrews. And we're heading to the top of the 4th inning, tied up at 3. And this game is shaping up very much like its real-life counterpart, which ended 10-7 in favor of the Sox. Culp, tough, 92, will be a fly out to left field for Hinton. So 1 down, Zoyo Versailles. 2nd baseman up. Versailles lined out to shortstop his first time up. And Patient, and that's going to be a fly out to left. So 2 up, 2 down. And Culp has now set down 6 in a row as Max Alvis digs in. Here comes a pitch, and that'll be in play, and that'll be a ground ball down to 2nd base. So 4-3, and Alvis is gone. So are the Indians. We're heading to the bottom of the 4th inning. Our score 3-3. Ken Hawk Harrelson trying to bat one in for the good guys. Here comes a pitch from Tiant. And 7's going to be in play, and Harrelson can't make anything happen with that, though. 29's going to be a pop out to 2nd base. So F4, 1 down. Tony Conigliaro, the batter. Tony C digs in. Here comes a pitch. Patient and Conigliaro. That's going to be a ground ball down to shortstop. So up with that is Brown, and whips that over to Horton, 2 down. The boomer up, and George Scott, his first time up, went down swinging. And Tiant, that's a defensive check. 98's going to be safe no matter what it is. So that would have been an error check on 3rd base, and Alvis is a 4. So he is not, well, actually very good. He is very good, and 98 well safe there. So he makes a nice play, 5-3 on the out. We head to the top of the 5th inning, and our score is tied at 3. And Tiant's going to lead it off here for the Indians in the top of the 5th. And that's going to be a tough, struck him out. So the Commodore down for the 2nd time on strikes, 1 down. Top of the order, Russ Snyder. And that's going to be a fly out to right field. So 2 outs, and Culp is cruising now. He's now set down 9 Indians in a row. Larry Brown, the batter. And 10, tough, and that'll be a fly out to left. So make that 10 straight. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning, still knotted up at 3. Rico Petrocelli set to lead it off for the hometown Red Sox. Tiant winds up, delivers the pitch. Patient, and that's going to be out of range though. Fly out to center field. So Petrocelli, he's flown out twice to Cardinal, 1 down. Jerry Moses, the batter. And defensive check, 95. That's going to be safe regardless, but again, we go through the motions here. That would be a range check on the left fielder. And that would be Hinton, who has a range factor of B. So 95 is safe and B is good range. So he would run that down in about 2/3 of the time. So 2 outs and pitcher spot up. Ray Culp waits for the pitch, and Tiant gives him a wheelhouse. You have got to be kidding me. Culp is a 6, and he takes Tiant yard. Wow. No excuse for that. The solo home run to your opposing pitcher. No bueno, Luis, and the Red Sox take a 4-3 lead. Top of the order for Reggie Smith, who homered to lead off the game. And Tiant's getting in trouble with the long ball here tonight. And that's going to be ballpark 33, wheelhouse. Here we go again. Smith with a big cut. He's got wheelhouse all 3 times up, and he's going to take that a wall scraper. Just over the top of the right field wall. His 2nd of the game, 2nd home run of the inning. And 3rd given up by Tiant, and the Sox now have a 5-3 lead. And that's going to shake the bullpen up a little bit. So Cleveland makes the call, and right-hander Stan Williams is starting to loosen up down there. And I'm sorry, that was actually the 4th home run of the game for the Sox. Mike Andrews up. He homered his last time back in the 3rd, a 2-run shot. All of the Sox's runs have come via the long ball so far. And 7 will be in play. And that'll be a fly ball to right field. So the Sox are done in the 5th, and as long as Tiant can keep it in the yard, he's good. It's the 4 that have left the yard that give the Red Sox a 5-3 lead after 5 innings. And Jose Cardinal up to start the 6th for the Cleveland Indians. So Tiant has given up 5 runs, but only 5 hits. And after a rocky first inning in which Culp gave up 3 runs on 4 hits, the Indians only have 1 walk since that point in time, and he has set down 10 in a row as Jose Cardinal prepares to hit. And 6 will be tough, and that's going to be out of range. A ground ball down to second base. So Culp keeps rolling. Unfortunately, he's given up 3 runs, so when he does get to his fatigue point, which will be the 8th inning, he is going to be gassed. So we'll either have a relief pitcher or we'll leave him in with a big lead, which is a shame as good as he's pitching now, but that's ballpark. And 41 is going to be wheelhouse. So Tony Horton, he swings a big bat, 1-56, and that ball's long gone. No doubt about that, well over the green monster. So the balls are flying out of the yard today. And that cuts it to 5-4, so maybe we won't have to worry about Culp pitching fatigued. And ironically enough, in the real-life game, there was a total of 7 home runs hit, 5 by the Sox and 2 by the Indians. And halfway through, well, almost 2/3 through this one, we have 5, 4 by the Sox, 1 by the Indians. So living up to real life in that regards. Duke Sims in the box. And that's going to be another ballpark. That's going to be another wheelhouse. And that probably is going to be another long ball. Sims with a cut, 50, and that ball's gone, and we're tied at 5. So 2 home runs for the Indians in the game, back-to-back, both in this inning, 5-5, and the Sox are going to get their bullpen going too. Too early for Sparky Lyle, but left-hander Bill Landis is going to loosen up down there. So both starters hanging by a thread here as Chuck Hinton steps into the box. 2 runs in this inning. 11's going to be a defensive check. So defense check, that's going to be an error check on the third baseman. And Boomer is a 2, roll of 11. That's not going to be good. So that's going to be an error. And the error on there will be a 1 base error on the third baseman. So Hinton aboard on the E5. And the shootout continues as Zoil Versailles steps in. 2 runs already in, runner on, 1 out, pitch from Culp. And 7 will be in play, 52, Versailles, and that's going to be a ground ball down to third base. And that's outside of his double play range, inside of Culp. So again, the house rule on that, we go to the 2D10 and roll on the runner advance chart. So on this, it's going to be 11 to 45 will be a double play. 88 is outside of that range, fielder's choice. So Hinton erased at second base, Versailles on at first, 2 outs. And Versailles can run a little bit if he can get a jump here. Needs a 4 or less, just misses it, so he's going to be held. Max Alvis the batter. 2 outs, Culp the pitch. 9, that'll be Patient in Alvis. He draws the walk. So runners on first and second. And the way this is heading, they are going to pinch hit for Tiant. So Luis, he will exit the game. Stan Williams will be the Indians pitcher when the Sox bat in the bottom of the 6th. And Williams is a batting card of 3. And the Indians are going to go to their bench for a pinch hitter. And Lou Klimchak gets the call. So Klimchak pinch hitting for Tiant. 2 runners on, 2 outs here. And he is a 6 and a D. So Culp trying to get out of the inning. This will be his last batter if he cannot retire him. Here's a pitch, and 6 is tough. 44, and just out of range there. That'll be a fly out to left field. So Culp gets out of the inning, but not before giving up 2 runs on back-to-back jacks by Horton and Sims, and we're going to the bottom of the 6th inning, and we once again are tied at 5. So this is turning into every bit the slugfest the real-life 10-7 game was. And new pitcher for the Sox is Stan Williams. And Williams in 1969 had a record of 6-14 in 61 appearances, 15 of them starts, 3.94 ERA. And the book is closed on Tiant. He goes 5 innings, only gives up 5 hits, but 5 runs, all of them earned due to the fact that he gave up 4 long balls. Tiant did not walk anybody, and he struck out 1. So Williams set to face Yaz. And 11, tough, and Williams comes right in and blows a fastball by Yaz, and 1 down. That brings up Ken Hawk Harrelson. Williams the windup, delivers 9. That's going to be tough out. 97 will be a fly out to left field. And Tony Conigliaro up. He is 0 for 2, a fly out, ground out to shortstop. And that's going to be another ballpark roll. This one, though, a little bit better luck for Williams, will be in play. And that's going to be a ground ball down to first. So Horton takes that unassisted. And the Sox go in order. In the 6th inning, we're heading to the 7th inning. Our score, Cleveland 5, Boston 5. Ray Culp still on the hill, waiting to see if they can get his place up and pinch hit for him. Top of the order, Rush Snyder. And 6, tough, and that's going to be a fly out to right field. 1 down, Larry Brown up. Here comes a pitch from Culp. And 9, that'll be patient and a walk. So Larry Brown trots down to first base. And he's going to try and steal on 4 or less. No, can't get the lead. Jose Cardinal up. 1 out, 1 on. 6 is tough, and he blows that right by him. The high heat, swing and a miss. So 2 down, and Tony Horton up. Here comes a pitch, and tough, 21. Ring him up, Johnny. Back-to-back strikeouts, and Culp breezes through the 7th inning. No hits, and Indians leave a runner. We're heading to the 7th inning stretch, and we're knotted up at 5 in a nice little shootout here. At the old ball game. Gotta sing, keep up with my buddy Chris at Strat-O-Matic, Delaware, and plug time. If you want to see some great projects going on with Strat, give Chris a look. His channel again, Strat-O-Matic, Delaware. Mentioned Al, Red Sox fan, who this game is partially for, though Jerry Ball requested it. Al's got a great channel as well, a multitude of different sports projects going on. Strat-O-Matic computer version, Out of the Park Baseball, also does some title bout, and I will say Al is the finest simulated boxing announcer on the internet. Take it to the bank, check him out. So here we go, bottom of the 7th inning, George Scott up. And 5, that's going to be a ballpark, and 51 will be a wheelhouse, so Scott does a little bit better against lefties. And 42, I'll have to settle for a single on that. And just some other great friends of the channel. While I'm mentioning that, be sure to check out the Double Earls, Earl and Earl at Tabletop Baseball Plus. And ID Jester, he does a lot of great sports, inside pitch, and also does a, and I forget the name of the first-person shooter, because I'm horrible at those, so definitely not my forte, but he has a variety of streams going on. He has Rico Petrocelli up. And Boomer, he needs a 3 or less to try and steal. Probably a good idea that he doesn't get that. Petrocelli 0 for 2. He has flown out twice to center field in this one. And Williams, that'll be in play. It's going to be a ground ball down to third base. And 6, that's going to be within Petrocelli's and Williams' range. So 5, 4, 3, double play. Our first double play of the game, and the Sox have 2 out here in the 7th inning. Jerry Moses up, Williams a pitch. And tough, swing and a miss. So Williams, 2 solid innings, and we are through 7, folks. And that's a shame for Boston, because Culp now hits his fatigue point. So he's going to have to come out, and all tied up, the Sox are going to bring in Bill Landis, and he's going to be tasked with just pitching a single inning here as a pitcher spot is due up first in the 8th. So for Culp, he's going to go 7 innings, and he gives up 7 hits, 5 runs. All those runs were earned, and he's going to walk 2. He will walk 3 and strike out 5. Let's make sure I'm not missing a walk. Actually, I'm sorry. He's going to walk 4 and strike out 5. And he also gives up a couple of long balls. So Landis in to start the 8th, and he will face a fellow lefty in Duke Sims. And that'll be in play. And 28, and Sims able to battle the lefty and line a single into right field. So Sims is on, Chuck hitting the batter. And 9 in play, 17, and that's going to be a single. So Landis, 2 quick base runners. That's a long single into the gap in center field. Runner on first will only advance 1, however. So back-to-back hits. Zoyo Versailles up. And they're going to go for a hit and run here. And the pitch from Landis. And 41, that's going to be a G4. All runners advance 1 base. So Versailles comes through, 4-3 on the put out, but moves the runners into scoring position for Max Alvis. And pitcher spot is up next, but they will definitely have a pinch hitter if they walk him, so they're going to pitch to Alvis. And 8, that's going to be a patient. And 75 will be a fly out to center field. And patient, runner on third may attempt to score using the coach's choice chart. So they're going to go for it here. Center fielder. Smith has an arm of 7. And Hinton a run rating of 8. All right, so they're going to go for it. 7 or less, and that is a 6. So the run gets home. Sims trots in from third, and that's going to be a fly out, sac fly, 1 RBI. And the Indians take a 6-5 lead. And pitcher spot up, runner on second base. And decision time here. And they're going to get up 1 Pizarro in the bullpen and bring in a pinch hitter for Stan Williams. So he is done. And we'll close the book on Williams here. He actually pitched fairly fairly well. He went 2 innings in relief of Tiant. Gave up just 1 hit, no runs, no walks, and he struck out 2. So Pizarro is going to be entrusted with nailing this one down. And pinch hitting for the Indians will be Vern Fuller. And Fuller 7-3C. So Landis, 2 outs, runner on second base, kicks, delivers, and 4, that's going to be in play, and 3 is going to be a double. So the pinch hitter comes through, and strolling around to score will be Hinton. And Fuller with the RBI double. So back to the top of the order now. Russ Snyder, the batter, and Landis is going to stay on the mound. 7 will be patient, and that's going to be a walk. So runners on first and second. Sparky Lyle is warming up furiously in the Red Sox pen. And Landis has to try and get out of this. 5, that'll be tough, and 56. It's going to be a fly out to right field. So the inning is over, but the Indians come through and score 2 runs on 3 hits, and we're heading to the bottom of the 8th inning. Score: Tribe 7, Sox 5. And Landis is done. And trailing, it's going to be either Bill Lee or Sparky Lyle, depending on what the Sox do here. Juan Pizarro on the mound, and George Thomas is going to be the pinch hitter. Thomas, he runs fairly well too, an 8, does not steal. And Pizarro set to deal here, try to nail this one down. For Williams, who's a pitcher of record at this point in time, and 11 is going to be a defensive check. 96 will be safe. And that's going to be an error check on the shortstop, and Brown is a 2, and again, makes the play easily there. So 6-3, Thomas goes down. Top of the order, Reggie Smith, and Reggie has had a great day today. He is 2 for 3 and 2 solo home runs. And pitch, going to be patient. That'll be a fly out to left field, so 2 down. And suddenly time's looking desperate for the Sox as Mike Andrews steps in. And 12, that's going to be Wheelhouse, but he misses his pitch, and it's just going to be a long fly to left field. And back to the wall goes Hinton, pulls it in. And 3 up, 3 down in the 8th. We're heading to the top of the 9th. Score: Indians 7, Red Sox 5. And because they did not get anything going, the spaceman, Bill Lee, is going to be the pitcher. So we'll close the book on Landis. He had a rough go of it. Went only 1 inning. Gave up 3 hits. 2 runs, both of them earned, and also 2 bases on balls. Or I'm sorry, 1 base on balls. No strikeouts, no home runs. So Spaceman facing Jose Cardinal. And pitch, that's going to be Ballpark, and that's in a bad spot. Holy cow, Wheelhouse, and Cardinal has his pitch, and we've had a few missed Wheelhouse pitches, and that's just going to be a long fly out to left, 1 down. Ballpark on number 8, Spaceman, what's wrong with you? Here we go again, and Wheelhouse, Tony Horton, he's not going to miss this, is he? Oh, and he gets under it too, and another long fly out. Tony Horton deep to left field, 2 down. So Bill Lee serving moonballs up there, and the Indians cannot take advantage. Duke Sims up, and Patient. And Sims, he'll work the walk. So 2-out walk for the Indians. And Sims having a good day now. In addition to that walk, he has singled, doubled, and homered. He has scored 3 runs and driven in 3. So looking at an early candidate for POG right there as Chuck Hinton steps in. 2 outs, 1 on. Spaceman, the pitch, Patient again. And that's going to be a triple by Hinton. I'm sorry, left-hander. That's going to be a walk. So 2 outs, then 2 walks for Bill Lee and Zoyo Versailles up. Here comes a pitch from Spaceman, and 9. That's going to be Patient again, 53. And Versailles singles. So that's going to be a hard grounder into left field. Runner on first advances 2 bases. Runner on second scores. So Sims comes around to score. Hinton over to third. Versailles has an RBI single. And the Indians extend their lead to 8-5. Max Alvis, the batter. Lee falling apart after getting 2 quick outs. And ballpark again. This one's going to be in play, however. And 69, and that is going to be well out of range. Fly out to center field. So the walk hurts Bill Lee as the Indians tack on another. We head to the bottom of the 9th inning, and we are locked in an 8-5 shootout. Cleveland on top. Carl Yastrzemski to lead it off against Juan Pizarro, lefty on lefty. And 5, tough, 14, swing and a miss. Struck him out. So Pizarro, 2 outs away. He is determined, gets a sign. Into the windup, and 6 will be Patient. 67 against the lefty, and that's just out of range. And it'll be a fly out to center field. So last chance, Tony C. You're due for some good fortune, brother. Here comes the pitch. 6 is Patient, and 50. And Canigliaro is going to single back up the middle. So the Sox are not done yet. And Canigliaro not going to try a steal with a 3-run deficit. He's going to leave it in the capable hands of George Scott. And pitch, ballpark. Here we go again. Wheelhouse. Scott, he can hit lefties. 49 and deep, gone and off the top of the monster and into the street. George Scott, 2-run shot, and it's suddenly a 1-run game. So the Sox not going down without a fight. A 2-run shot by George Scott. And Cleveland frantically gets Ron Law up in the bullpen. 2 outs, 2 in. Rico Petrocelli, he can touch him too. Here comes the pitch. And that'll be in play, but Petrocelli, a fly out to shallow left field. Hinton says, I have that, and that is the ball game. But not before the Sox make it exciting. Getting 2 runs on 2 hits here in the 9th inning, but our final score in this 1969 Payoff Pitch Cubs bonus game replay, American League version, the Indians 8 and the Red Sox 7. And much like the real life game, this one featured some fireworks. So box scores for the Indians, their 8 runs came on 11 hits, no errors. And for the Sox, 7 runs on 8 hits. And 1 error. And much like real life, this was really a long ball fest. In fact, I mentioned earlier in the real life game, the Red Sox hit 5 home runs and the Indians hit 2. Well, guess what, folks? In this game, the Red Sox hit 5 home runs and the Indians hit 2. The Sox home runs coming 2 by Reggie Smith, 1 by Mike Andrews, 1 by the pitcher, Culp, and George Scott, a 2-run blast here in the bottom of the 9th to make it interesting. So 5 home runs for the Sox, and the Indians back-to-back home runs for their 2 in the 6th inning by Tony Horton and Duke Sims. And in the top of the 9th, what turned out to be the deciding run, Zoyo Versailles drove in Duke Sims, who had earlier walked. And the winner in this one is going to be Stan Williams. Pizarro gets the save, though he made it shaky. And loser for the Sox will be Bill Landis. And player of the game, lots of offense here. You have to go with the winning team, and probably the hottest bat on the winning team was catcher Duke Sims. And he went 3 for 4. He had a single, a double, home run, and a walk. He scored 4 runs and drove in 3. So Duke Sims is your player of the game in this 1969 bonus replay. And hope you enjoyed the game. And until next time, have a good night and keep rolling for the fences.